Hey everyone, Nathaniel Ruffle-Jans from Nintendo Prime. Very different, off-the-cuff video being made on my phone audio, all that jazz. Not about video games. If you're only here for video games, you can just click off the video right now. It's okay. I don't make a lot of videos like this, but first one I think in 2020 like this. So let's just go with the flow and see what happens. Before I get into it, you can still enter our Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition giveaway for this month. Just like the video, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell icon. That's possible on every video I do this month. But what I want to talk about isn't so much the thing like Ninjala being delayed and all that video game stuff going on. There's a lot of video game stuff we could talk about. PlayStation 5 reveal coming up, I believe in June now. The thing I want to focus on is fear. Fear of life, fear of decisions we make, just fear in general. A lot of us are driven by fear. Fear isn't inherently a bad thing. Fear helps protect us. Right? It protects us from doing something that is stupid and might injure us or injure somebody else or impact people in a negative way. Fear can be healthy, but there's a difference between a healthy amount of fear and running your life on fear. And I feel like for probably 9 years or so, maybe a little bit less than that, I've been running my life on fear. Fear with this channel, fear with my kids, fear with my woman, fear with everything around my life, because I wasn't like this before I started dating Yulia, who you guys know is my fiance and all this stuff, like your mother of my children, my significant other. I'm actually in the car waiting for her to go on lunch break right now. We're going to have some lunch and go for a drive and all that cool stuff. But the thing is, I live my life in fear in a way that isn't healthy. And I wasn't like this before Yulia. Before Yulia, I didn't really care what I did or the decisions I made. I overthought things, but I didn't overthink them in the way that I wouldn't do something. Like, should I take this trip to Vegas and blow all my money? I would think, oh, it's not a bad idea, or it's a bad idea, this or that. But then I would just do it, because in the end, nobody's negatively impacted but me. All my decisions I made in life only really affected me. Even if I made a decision that ended up in me dying, like say I went skydiving and it went wrong and I died or something, in the end, people's day-to-day lives aren't really impacted. My parents might be sad for a little bit and other things like that, and there'll be people that don't care that I'm gone back then, but in general, most people's lives would just continue on without there being a significant change in your day-to-day routine or day-to-day life, day-to-day thought process. But that changed when I met Yulia. I've had thousands of relationships. I don't know about thousands, but a lot of relationships, dozens and dozens of different relationships and dates and women and sexual situations and all this stuff that I've dealt with. But ultimately, none of my decisions I made during those times, I felt like that I was significant enough to the other person's life that it would really matter what happened to me, or if I lost my job, or whatever the case might be. If I failed in college, I'll just go back and try something else in college. I wasn't worried about failing in college because it only affected me. The moment it started affecting other people, I changed. When I met Yulia, my whole life changed. I met someone that I deeply cared about. She had a daughter. That daughter became my daughter, and we had a couple more kids. And 9 years later, we're living a pretty good life right now. But over that time, I started becoming more and more afraid of decisions I make as a parent, afraid of decisions I make as an adult, whether it's job related or college related, whether it's weight loss related, or anything that I make a decision on, because now it impacts others. If I screw up, other people are impacted. If I make the wrong decision as a parent, it could lead my kids down a path that ends up not being the best. If I make the wrong decision in my relationship, is that going to lead to Yulia leaving me? That's something that I've been afraid of for 9 years, and it feels like I shouldn't be afraid of losing her. She's still here. It's 9 years later. She's still here. What am I afraid of? I'm her best friend. She's my best friend. What the hell am I even worrying about? It seems stupid, but that's what happens when you're driven by fear. I fear this channel. I feel this channel, any year now is just not going to exist anymore. That people are going to stop watching because I've screwed up too many times. And I have screwed up. I've screwed up many times, and I'll probably screw up many times in the future. But I can't make my content, I can't live my life based on the fear of making a mistake. And you're going to make mistakes. It's part of human nature. So Matt Pat put up a video about a week ago talking about losing control and his fear of flying, and obviously what he thought his dream was to deal with that, and then that dream kind of went away when certain events happened this year. Plus, he had the pandemic, where we can be the most cautious people in the world and still end up with COVID-19. It's one of those situations where it doesn't matter in the end if you like Matt Pat or you like the points he makes in his videos on Game Theorist. What matters is what we do as individuals in our lives, the choices we make, how we deal with it. I overthink so many choices in my life to the point that I sometimes end up not making a choice at all. And then nothing good comes of it. Nothing bad might come of it, but nothing good comes of it. And then, should I do my kids' homework during this homeschooling thing? Should we do it now or should we do it later? This and that. And then there ends up being no structure, and then chaos ensues. Should I feel guilty about having, say, a McDouble a few days ago? Did it ruin my diet? And then should I get all depressed about that? And then does that stop me from exercising? Or should I be like, well, I had that McDouble. It's okay that I had it. Just, throw an extra couple miles on my walk tomorrow or something. Like, instead of thinking on the positive side, I'm always focused on the negative, to the point that I'm trying to avoid the negative, and in trying to avoid the negative ends up happening anyways. And that's changed now. I feel like I'm changing. It doesn't change overnight, but it's been a little bit now, probably a couple weeks. And what has happened is I have tried to take on a little bit more of Yulia, my significant other's personality traits a little bit. She lives her life in the moment. She doesn't worry about the consequences of what she's doing. She lives her life in the moment. I don't. And so we're a really good balance for each other. Not everybody has that balance in their life. But sometimes, for people who don't live their life in the moment like me, it's very hard to balance it by trying to live your life and not let it go by, but still having a healthy fear of some things. So what I have done is I have taken a step back. Every time I'm about to debate about doing something like making this video, I take a step back, I take a deep breath, and then I just do it. There are obviously some things that are still worth having to fear about, like COVID-19 situation. You probably shouldn't throw a huge party and have a bunch of people over, even if you're in an area that doesn't have a lot of high risk, just because, you're putting other people at risk needlessly. But if you're going to go to the grocery store, make an extra trip to the grocery store, that's fine. Do it. Take your precautions, your hand sanitizer, your gloves, or whatever you want to use. Don't touch your face, wear a mask. Do everything you should do to protect yourself, but don't just not go to the grocery store to get groceries if you need them just because you're afraid. Don't be stupid. If you're afraid of heights, they always say the best thing to do with fear is face it. Some fears can't be faced, but some fears can. Are you afraid of losing someone if you say something? But that something is what you really believe and what you really feel. Just say it, because reality is you're not going to have them either if you don't say it. So yes, don't worry so much in life about the things you can't control, because reality is, even if we think we can control a lot of situations, we can't. I can't control if Yulia is going to leave me or not. I can only control the kind of person I am, and then hope that that's enough for her. I can't control ultimately at the end of the day what my children become when they grow up, but I can control how I choose to guide them and trying to do everything I feel is right to raise them in the right way. And they're going to end up making their own choices and their own mistakes and go down their own path one day. And it's not necessarily going to be my fault or going to be to my credit how they necessarily turn out at the end. All I can do is do my best to get them in the best situation with the best opportunities, and hope that they make the correct choices, or what I feel is the correct choices, because even what I think is the correct choice for them might not be the correct choice for them. They have to figure that out. So what you guys need to do is stop overthinking. Only be fearful of things that really matter in life. Things that, you should be fearful of, like, drunk driving. If you had a bunch of drinks, you should, in the back of your mind, be afraid to go get in that car and drive, because it's stupid. You're needlessly putting people at risk, including yourself. You should be afraid of situations like that. But you don't need to be afraid of asking someone out. You don't need to be afraid of, making a career change per se, even if that means you might end up making less money and things might not turn out your way, because life shouldn't be about money. It shouldn't matter. You should be able to live comfortably, even if you're just slightly above the poverty line in money. You can find a way, you can move to areas and live comfortably. reality is that we shouldn't be driving our lives by fear. We should be driving it by, I guess, enjoying life in the moment as much as we can. Live your life. Don't think about your life. Live it, I guess, is the big message here, because we spend a lot of time being afraid and thinking about things instead of enjoying what's right in front of us. I'm about to have lunch any minute now with the love of my life. What the hell would I worry about losing her for? Why would I not just enjoy the moment, enjoy the time, you know? Enjoy your life. Enjoy the video games you're playing. Enjoy the time you get at home right now. Enjoy some of the nicer weather maybe some of you guys are having. Just enjoy life, because you only have one of them. And why waste a majority of your life worrying about what might happen or what could happen or about the negative and the bad things when you could actually sit back and just enjoy what's already there? Doesn't mean don't strive for more. I'm going back to college. I'm going to try to buy a bigger house for my family and you know, provide things that I've always wanted, like a hot tub and all that. But here's the thing. If I never get to those things, I can still enjoy everything along the way. And that's my goals in life. That is what I'm doing. And whether my channel is successful in the future or not, it doesn't really matter. My channel is a success right now as it is. The fact that I have any more than just myself watching this video already makes me a success as a YouTuber. So I'll take that to the bank. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm Nathaniel Overjams from the Nintendo Prime. Enter that Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition giveaway. I hope you guys learned something from this video, either about me or about yourselves. And yeah, I guess I'll just catch you in the next video.